How many of you know what is XSS, what is HTML injection, and what is SSRF injection?
XSS injection is basically of payload of the JavaScript.
XSS is what?
Malicious code that's generated with the language of JavaScript.
Okay. And
Various HTML injection is nothing but a web vulnerability through which an hacker can inject malicious contents in the HTML code.
okay. And what is SSRF?
Server side
Sir,
request for
SSRF is a server side request forgery.
Okay. So what actually it means? What is mean by server-side request forgery?
Sir, like there are certain content which are restricted. So when we take the particular query in the URL and when we do some forgery and when we manipulate it, we can access contents which are not accessible to us.
Okay. So we now know what is HTML injection, what is server-side request forgery, and other thing, right? Let me just open my pen first to explain you. Those who are new, I am going to give a small explanation for them. Okay. So in this class, we're going to talk about SSRF, HTML injection, and JavaScript. That is basically uh, XSS. Okay. Now, how many of you have heard about server-side cross-site scripting? Did anyone heard about server-side cross-site scripting? No one? Am I audible? Okay. Okay, let me ask, can we allow the mic to the participants so that they can simply answer my query, because I'm not able to look into the chat while I'm doing the practicals. Is there any possibility? I think just to wait a moment. Okay, if you have mic access, you can simply unmute yourself and you can simply answer the query. Okay. So now, did anyone know what is server-side access is? Okay. Since I'm not able to view the chat, you can simply make sure to whenever you unmute yourself, make sure that there is no noise from your back end. Okay. So let's first understand what is SSRF.
Server side request forgery.
Yeah, that is the full form, but we don't go over the full form. We try to understand the concept. Okay. Now here is the website ex.com. I access this website and this is the server of ex.com, right? ex.com. Now what happened is, if there is any input here in this website, and if I
So we
somehow
are,
manipulate,
sir,
yes.
we are unable to see the screen. I mean, the website you are showing, right?
Oh, wait. Is my screen visible, everyone?
It's visible,
Sir,
sir.
Sir,
your
your
It
screen
screen
is
is
says
visible,
that your
sir, but
screen
the
is
website is
visible,
not.
but you are still at the home screen. I mean, it's not showing the place where you draw something or like that. The home screen is visible.
Okay, only the home screen is visible. Okay, perfect. Got it.
Actually, you must have you are sharing on the permit, I guess.
Okay, let me do this. Are you able to see my screen now?
yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So whenever let's say this website has some input, okay, and if I add any other website name in this input, then what happens is this request directly goes to the server, and on behalf of me, server will contact this website that I mentioned in this output. Okay, so on behalf of me, server will contact this information and got the response, and then server sends the response to me. Let's say I mention some image from Google site. Okay, then what happened is, uh, this request directly goes to this server. This server access this image, and in response, this server shows me this image. Okay, now this is what SSRF is. Now the attacking part is, if we can simply instruct the server to open any link, we can we can also instruct the server to open its internal website by specifying the local IPs. Okay, like 127.0.0.1. Now this is the local IP. Whatever you install, it is already installed in the local IP. Okay, like you have any internal application that is not allowed to be accessible throughout the server or externally, then what you can do, you can simply host those application in your local system, and you can simply access those web application with your this local IP. Got it? So this is what SSRF is. Now HTML injection. So in HTML injection, what happened is, let's see, we have a website, and again, if there is an input, we can, instead of writing some regular text, we can simply provide the HTML content here, like h1 test h1. Now what this do is, it simply goes to the server, and once it returns this thing, our browser think that, okay, this is the part of the code, and the browser will run this code also. Okay, but we know that this is not the part of the code. This is what we injected manually. And if we can inject any HTML code in any website, then it is a very crucial issue. Okay, it's a very crucial vulnerability. We can directly change the website look by HTML, since we know that website is built based on the HTML. And if there is a possibility to run the HTML code, then there is also a possibility to run JavaScript code. Okay, because since HTML and JavaScript both run together, right? So if we can execute the JavaScript code, then we can perform lot of attacks. So instead of alert 1, what we can do is, we can create yeah, Dinoda, we can create a cookie grabber that grabs the user cookie, and we can use this cookie to log in as the victim. Other thing what we can do is, other thing, anyone? Other thing what we can do? Other thing we can do the phishing.
We can manipulate the code, right?
Yeah, we can modify the code that comes into the phishing. We can deface the website. Okay, so this is the attack vector we can perform on this XSS. Always remember, if you have this HTML injection in the website, try to run JavaScript code. Why? Because as compared to HTML, JavaScript can do much more task. Okay, so to show the impact, you can simply show that website is vulnerable to JavaScript also. Okay, now since we covered the theory, let's simply move with the practicals. So I hope everyone understands the theory.
Yep, sir.
Okay, so shall we move with the practicals?
Yes, sure.
Yeah, sir.
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, we will use this website. Okay, let me zoom my screen first so that you can simply view it better. Yeah, so
Sir,
here is the
Sir,
website.
there is one doubt actually.
Yes.
Sir, actually, I've been using the VirtualBox for a long time, but right now I'm getting some trouble with it. So I switched
Okay.
to WSL. So can I use all this in WSL, right?
All the command line tool you can use in WSL, but there is some specific system requirement. For that, you need to install the whole operating system itself. Since the WSL is only the kernel, it is not the whole operating system. But if
Yes,
you
sir.
faced any issue with the VirtualBox, I highly recommend you to install the VMware. Okay. So if you
Okay,
want the
sir.
premium version of VMware, you can simply contact me.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
I'll contact you later.
Okay.
Okay, sir. No worries.
Okay. Yeah.
Excuse
So,
me, sir, one more question.
Yes, yes.
Sir, instead of installing Kali Linux into the virtually, can we
Uh-huh.
install it with the window dual boot, like installing both
Yes,
operating
yes, you
systems?
can do this dual boot, but what is your requirement? Since if you want to just practice the Kali Linux, I highly recommend you to use the VirtualBox or any VM software. If you want to, if you are familiar with Linux, then only you can go with Double Boot. Because in Double
Okay.
Boot, like sometimes in pen testing, we need to use both Windows operating system, and simultaneously we have to use the Kali Linux operating system and Parrot operating systems also. That's why we use virtualization.
Okay, sir. So, sir, is there a need of switching between the two when we are in
Yes,
one
there is a
operating
need.
system? There is a need.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
VirtualBox is a good. Uh,
No, a
choice.
VMware is the good. VirtualBox, if you do to be honest, VirtualBox is for low end system. If you have the good system, then you can go with the VMware, since VMware provide the better support than the VirtualBox. If you use VirtualBox today, after 15 days, you will face issue with VirtualBox.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So this website says that hardware
But
shop
VMware has some extra features like snapshot.
you can use any other tool for snapshot. There is a green shot tool. Okay. You can download this green shot to take the snapshot. So this is a green shot. You can download it for Windows, Mac, and Linux. Just mark the website or the product name, green shot. Okay, you can search it on your end. So let's focus on our practical. Okay. So this website says this is the hardware website, hardware shop. And here we have different products like RAM, SSD, CPU, and GPU. If I click on this, I see we have a CPU and some description, and then we have comment. If I simply add test here and place an order, let's see what happened. Okay, if I place an order, then it generate the invoice, right? So currently the invoice is downloaded. So as you can see, the invoice is already downloaded. Let me open this invoice. Okay, this is the invoice we have here. Here we have the item that we purchased, the description of the item, the rate, quantity, right? And here is our additional note, that is test. Perfect. So far what we know is the website is using a PDF generation library that generates the PDF. Now you need to understand one more thing. Whenever you see any website that generating a PDF, there is a highly chance that the website is using any PDF generation library. Like if I simply search it, you will notice that there are some PDF generation library, right? Like PDF kit, okay, PDFM, so PDF box. These are the libraries that used on the back end to generate the PDF. Now, since we confirm that the website is using PDF library and it is generating the PDF, let's check if this library is vulnerable or not. Okay, so how we do this? So we simply again download the PDF. We need to identify if this library is vulnerable or not. So as I see, I have downloaded the PDF. Now I open the terminal here. And I use one tool to recon. Okay. Now when I say you recon, it simply means that I will use a tool called XGIF. Okay. And I check the metadata of this PDF. Since to attack the PDF generation library, we first need to know what kind of version the application is using, right? So I'm going to use this tool. Okay. If you don't have this tool, you can simply install it using apt install. Okay. So let me give this PDF. So this is our PDF, right? I'm simply drag and drop here. If I hit enter, then we can see some details here, right? So these are the metadata of this PDF. So metadata is basically information about the information. Okay. So as we can see that, okay, this is the version of our tool. This is the file name. This is the location where the file is. This is the size of a file. This is the date and time. We don't care about it. Okay. Now, if you see the meme type, this is the PDF. So meme type defines what kind of file it is. Okay. In advanced attack, we can change this meme type and we can make any anything to the PDF. We can convert basically any file to the PDF or any file to the anything. Okay. And here we see the creator. So this is the PDF generation library the application is using, and this is the version. This is the producer. Okay. And yeah, so we got the version of the PDF generation library, right? So far so good, no doubt, right? Now, to identify or to confirm if this version is vulnerable to any kind of attack, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, since I don't know what version is vulnerable or not, right? So I simply paste it here and I simply search for vulnerabilities. Here in exploit DB, I found one vulnerabilities. So let me open this vulnerability. And I can simply search what it is. So it is saying that is an open source command tool that renders HTML into PDF. Oh. Let me open the exploit DB link. There is another link that says that this version is specifically vulnerable to server-side request forgery. Okay. Oh, let me open this in my home system. I think there is some issue with this. Okay, so the exploit DB says that this particular specific version is vulnerable to server-side request forgery, right? And in order to replicate this POC, what we have to do is we just have to pass this thing. And whatever internal application running on that server, it simply shows us, right? So let's try to do this. Since we have the input field here, we can simply paste it, right? And place an order. So the PDF is generated. Now, Can we able to view the internal application now, since this website already says that there is a internal web application, right? To check the order. Note to employee, please use our internal web application to track past orders. So we provide the SSRF that command, and we generate the POC, we generate the PDF. Now, if we open this PDF, can we able to view the internal application or not? How many of you think we can?
I think we can.
Okay. Okay, how many of you are getting this?
No,
Please mute yourself. Once your doubt is clear, you can mute yourself, okay?
sorry.
Yeah. Okay. Anyone have any query in this part?
Sir, I have a doubt.
Yeah.
So does this mean that it is redirecting to the IP address you provided or something else?
Which IP? No, this is just a
What you
POC.
pasted?
This is just a POC. The creator who found this specific vulnerability, to reproduce this vulnerability, he used this thing, okay? He used a iframe, and inside this iframe, he put this internal IP of that web application. It doesn't mean that this is the actual IP address of every web application, since most of the web application host their application in localhost like 127.0.0.1. Some of them host in a different IP, okay? So this is the private IP. So it depends on the company to company. If you own the class A IP, as per your system and as per your requirement, you can simply change this IP. This is just an example. We need to change this IP, okay?
Okay, sir.
Yeah. Any other doubt? Perfect. No doubt. Okay. So we already download the PDF. Let's open this PDF. And as we can see, we provide this iframe injection, right? It doesn't render. Now, what it means? It means that the this particular version is not vulnerable to the SSRF attack, or the PDF generation thing is not vulnerable to HTML injection. What it means?
Sir,
Since
maybe the vulnerability has been resolved, I guess, or maybe before the script we have included test, I guess. Maybe that could be the reason too.
Okay. So
I guess
we
I
can,
do not know. I'm sorry.
no, that's perfectly fine. We need a guess, okay? Since we at the time of exploitation, no one knows if the application is vulnerable or not, and we try to guess, and yeah, that's how it works, right? Hit and try.
Sir,
Since
we can
Huh.
try it in Buffsuit. I mean, in Buffsuit, we can know that the page is vulnerable or not. I mean, properly. That command. I mean, you can go to repeater and then when you send that, so we can find the internal server source, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, command.
Okay, that's perfectly fine. Okay, so since we confirm that the PDF generation library is running on this this particular version, when I mean this particular version, and we check that this particular version is vulnerable, okay. So in order to fix this vulnerability, the developer has to upgrade this PDF generation library to the secured version, right? Like it says 0.1.2. 0.1.2.6, right? If you want to patch this vulnerability, you have to upgrade this to 7 or 8. What is the fixed version? What is the patch version? Okay, since the application is running on this, that means the application is not patched yet. So it is the vulnerable. Now, let's use burp suit then. Okay. So I'm going to use burp suit. And with this, you see that we need different kind of operating system to run different tools, right? But I'm going to run burp here. Let's see. I have any, okay, no, I don't have any proxies. I hope you all are enjoying this. I hope you are not getting bored, right?
No, sir. No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay.
No,
Since
sir.
yeah, since today's class is the advanced class, because first one we talk about very basic and this is the advanced class. And I am guarantee you that if you learn everything what we covered today, you can simply try this thing in your bug bounty hunting and you can try to find this vulnerability. Okay, I open the browser here. Let me copy the website. And yeah, at the end of this session, you'll also get this website to practice. Okay. So make sure to practice this. If you don't have Linux, no worries. I will provide you the cloud Linux. Okay.
Okay.
But yeah. Okay.
Sir, this the recording will be available, right, sir?
Yes, I think it is available.
Sir, when can we expect the recording to be sent for us?
I think 48 hours.
Yeah, okay, sir.
Okay, since my Linux is not responding to this machine, I'm going to use my host machine. Okay. Let me update this. Okay. Oh, I think there is update. No worries. I'm going to share. I'm going to share my entire screen. Okay. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this is my host machine. Now, as you told me, I simply use this test, place an order, and I intercept this request and I simply go to the repeater. I turn off this. And here is the payload. I simply copy this payload and paste it here, right? Where is the field? The comment field. This is the comment field, right? No, this is the comment field test. And I simply remove this test. Now, if I hit enter or if I hit send, it generates the PDF, right? Now, this is the PDF content. If you try to view, we cannot view any internal application here. So it is just a PDF. There is no internal application. Now, that means that this particular field is not vulnerable. Okay. If we closely look into the web application, we have this field also, but we cannot write anything here. We have this field also, but we cannot write anything here. We have this field that takes user input, but this is not vulnerable. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to, instead of writing my HTML injection command here, I'm going to write it here, and I'm going to write it here also. of course, I cannot do this with this browser. I have to take this request to the burp suite, and then I can simply edit this, right? So simply let's do it. So first what I do is I simply take this request into my interceptor. So this is the proxy, right? And I'm going to change this. First, just to confirm if this field is vulnerable or not, I'm going to add h1 header. Okay, and I'm going to close this with h1. Now, if the field is vulnerable, this CPU turns into the heading one. Okay, so if I simply forward this, possibly the PDF, I think, yeah, the PDF is generated. Let me keep it. Let me open the PDF. Oh, okay. We see nothing happens. Let's try other field also. We see that the item, there must be CPU, but yeah, when we add that h1, we don't see anything here, right? Got it. So let's try with this field. Again, we do the same thing. We place an order. We test the CPU. Now let's test this. h1. h1. And yeah, now it again generate the PDF. Let's open the PDF. Again, we observe one thing, that whenever we provide any HTML tag, it simply wipes the description, it simply wipes the field where we put the HTML tag, right? So it simply means that this application or the PDF generation library is behaving differently when we provide the HTML content over here. Got it?
Yes, sir. Got it, sir.
Okay. So how do we confirm that the application is vulnerable or not?
Sir, we should play with the fields, right? With each field, we should play with the commands, and when it breaks, we'll understand that it's vulnerable.
We already played with the fields.
Okay,
We
sir.
put we have, as you can see, that we have put HTML tags,
Yes, sir.
right?
Yes, sir.
But it doesn't work.
Okay.
Now, you have to understand, in our case, we are totally sure that the we are totally sure that the version is vulnerable to SSRF, but we cannot inject any iframe over there. We cannot inject any HTML injection payload over there, right? So what we do? So let's try to run JavaScript, right? Because it is possible. If HTML is not accepting, then we can simply try with JavaScript. So I'm going to try one payload, okay? So I'm going to try this payload.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Sir, how do you able to detect the vulnerability? How do you get to know that without using any tools?
Okay. No, I did use the tool, right? So
No.
first, what I do is I simply download the PDF. Okay. I download the PDF and I use this tool.
Yeah.
And I look the PDF metadata, okay? And the PDF metadata says that the PDF generation library is this, and this is the specific version of that library, okay? Now, I simply copy this PDF library version, and I simply do a quick Google, Okay, I simply do a quick Google and I found that in exploit DB database, I found that this specific version of this PDF generation library is vulnerable to SSRF attack. And here is the exploit. Okay, it is found on this date, so it is the latest one. So this is the found on 2022, and here is the POC. If you want to exploit this vulnerability, you have to pass this iframe src and then the IP to view the internal application.
Sir, is
This
this
is how.
available in public domain? This information, this database information is available in public domain.
Yes, it is the public domain, no? Like there
Also,
are researchers,
it's
there are
already
hackers.
okay. There are trying. This is tried and tested method. So here you get your information and
Sorry,
tried method.
this is what?
This information is available in public domain. You access this, and this
Huh.
already tried and tested method. You're
Yes, this is the trial tested
Okay,
method. Since
okay.
so so we now going to use this this payload. Okay, now anyone any idea with this payload? Any idea?
So this is the XSS, right?
Yeah, this is the XSS payload.
Okay, so,
It will print the Windows material.
so we are writing the location of the particular window into a document, sir.
Okay, so what this payload do is, let me explain you for those who don't know. So whenever we generate the PDF, right, this document.write tells the HTML to write the location where this JavaScript runs on the server and show that location on our PDF. Okay, since we know that the PDF generation library generates PDF on server, right? It processes all the tasks on the server. If we provide this payload and if it execute this payload while generating the PDF, we can simply disclose the location of where the PDF or where the script is running. Okay, so we can simply do the path disclosure by using this payload. Okay, so shall we try? Shall we try this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Why not?
Okay, so let me try here. Place an order. The PDF is again generated. Open the PDF. Okay, nothing happened. We got the same payload here. That means this field is not vulnerable. No worries.
So 1 second.
Yeah.
So if it is vulnerable, what we gonna expect to happen?
Server location. It writes the server location where the scripts run.
Okay, what we gonna see in that PDF?
Server location.
Okay, then it directly, what I mean, it not mention the that data
Yes.
entered in that, and it will directly
Huh.
mention the
It
server
will
location.
directly show the location. It will not directly show the payload.
Okay,
Okay,
sir. Thank
we
you.
got.
Thank you.
Sir,
Yeah.
maybe we can try the URL encoded version.
No, we cannot try because this is the post field, right? We only try URL encoded version whenever we are sending data into the URL. Okay, so let's try to paste our payload here, and if this also field not work, we can do it here also. Let me check. Yeah, my interceptor. Okay, yeah. Now let me paste my payload here first, and forward this request. And yeah, it generates the PDF. Open this PDF and let's see what we got. As you can see, this time we got the server location, that is file temp underscore the PDF generation library, and there is some PDF name. Okay, did you see this? Previously we got this, but now it writes the location where this PDF saves or where the JavaScript runs. Okay, so this is a path disclosure vulnerability. We got it from store server, not store. We got it from server side accesses. Okay, so this is what the server side accesses is. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now we confirm that this field is vulnerable to server side accesses. Now what we can do next? Since we know the path where we know the path, right, where this script run, and we know that this field is vulnerable. Now what we can do is we can change this server side accesses into SSRF vulnerability, local file inclusion vulnerability. Okay, so we can chain with these two vulnerabilities. Now first what we're gonna do is we're gonna chain this vulnerability to LFI. First we try to read the local files. If we possibly if we able to read the local file, then we can go with SSRF. Okay, so can you tell me why we are going to do the local file inclusion? Why we are not moving with the SSRF vulnerabilities?
We can access the local files of the system. Is it?
Yes, we
Sir,
can access.
to find some cases.
Yes, since why our LFI version, why our why our this SSRF don't work is because if you carefully look at here, it mentions the iframe, and inside this iframe it mentions what? It mentions the IP, right? Now this is the local IP, and we don't know if our application hosted the local application in this IP or into this IP or any other IP. So to find the IP where the local application is hosted, we need to read its source code, or we need to access the local file where we can find out the IP address of this application. Got it?
Okay. Okay.
Got it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So first we need to identify the IP address where the internal application is hosted. Then we can simply do the SSRF. The thing is, why our SSRF didn't work? The first one, the field is not vulnerable. If we try this in second field, again we don't get any application. If we try this in second field, let me do this. If I try this with the second field, I think this is the field. If I try this here, and if I forward this, you see it throws the error. Now what it says that error opening this file. So the server throws an error while opening this file. Why? Because server don't know what is this address, right? So we need to find the appropriate address first. Now, in order to do this, we can simply chain our cross-site scripting into LFI. So I'm going to use this script. This is the advanced script of LFI or JavaScript. Okay. So do you remember in JavaScript we have we can simply have this This is the function in JavaScript. We can use this function to send request, right? If you don't know about this, what you can do is you can simply copy this and you can simply search this. So this is how we can use JavaScript to send HTTP request. Okay, so you can refer this document. So JavaScript is very, very, very powerful. Now I'm going to use this script and I'm going to use etc. I'm going to use this and I'm going to first read the default file, right? That is the etc. Okay, I think this is the file, right? Let's try to read this file. Okay, let's again generate this. We know that the second field is vulnerable. Let's paste our payload here. And this is how our script looks like. And we are going to read that particular file. It generates the PDF. Let's open the PDF. And yeah, here we got the file. So this is the etc password file. Okay. That means we are successfully able to chain our stored. Let me complete first. That means we are able to chain our server side accesses into LFI, and we got this result. Okay, so this confirms that the server is vulnerable to LFI also. And here we got the username and password of MySQL DB. Now you can continue. You can ask your question.
If I do that command,
You're not audible.
audible.
Yes, you're audible now.
So that way we can also run multiple commands.
Yes, we can run multiple commands.
That way we can also form our payload to maybe deploy to backdoor there.
Backdoor, no, we cannot create a backdoor. Why? Because it depends on the PDF generation library that the application use. Some PDF generation library accept the PHP code also, but in our case, this PDF generation library does not accept the PHP code. So to identify the functionality of the PDF generation library, what you can do is you can simply refer the documentation. Okay. Yeah, so this is, I think I forgot the name. Yeah, so this is the PDF generation library we are using. We can simply do the Google search. And yeah, you have to read this Stack Overflow, the documentation. Okay, and then you can simply find that, okay, this particular PDF generation library supports any kind of scripting or not.
Excuse
In
me, sir.
our case, yes.
Sir, actually, my web application testing part, that specifically that part is not that strong, because I actually don't know JavaScript.
No, that's totally fine. Since I can, let me clear this. This today's class is not for everyone. Okay. Whatever we are going to do here, it is only for the
It's my
expert
first class.
or It is only for those who know the knowledge of JavaScript, cross-site scripting, and
Okay.
who have some experience in the field of web application security. But yeah, if you are new to this field, no worries. You can simply watch the video. You don't have to understand. You simply watch this lecture and you can simply understand, okay, what kind of vulnerability we can find in a web application, right? So we will start the basic class also, and we can clear everything, every basic concept that you need, and then we can simply slowly move on the advanced topic. Okay, but since we done our basic class last time, so this time we are going to do the advanced class for advanced students, right? Got it? If you don't know JavaScript, if you are new to this field, no worries. So yeah, you can simply search the documentation and you can simply go with this. Okay, now we know that, okay, this version is specifically vulnerable to LFI. Now we need to know we have to read the server, okay, where server stores the configuration file. Why we need to read the configuration file? Can anyone tell me? Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Can anyone tell me why we
Yes,
need
sir.
to read the configuration file? We confirm there is the LFI vulnerability, right? Our next step is to read the configuration file.
Sir, we can get the admin panel page, admin panel
No,
passwords.
no. We cannot read. Now let's understand. Okay,
We
I'm going to
can
tell you one
see
more.
what is going on the system.
Hmm.
So after this,
I know this is advanced, but yeah, we have to take care of this. So far, we found LFI. Now, we need to find the internal application's IP. In order to find the internal application IP, if we got the IP, then only we can access the web application. Okay. To get this IP, we need to read the config file. Why? Because this config file stores web application location or web application IP. Okay. This config file stores the credential. This config file stores any hidden web application or any hidden path or directory that are not accessible to the externally. That's why we are going to read the config file. Okay. Simply now, the configuration file stored every configuration of the web application. If there is any internal application, then we can find this web application in the configuration file. As simple as that. Okay. Now I hope you understand why we are going to simply dig and simply retrieve this configuration file, right? Okay. Now, how do we get the configuration file? Now, in order to find the configuration file, we need to know what kind of server the web application is running on. Okay. So in order to find what kind of server the web application is running on, we can simply use our banner grabbing techniques. Last time I show you this. I don't know if you practiced this or not.
Yes.
Okay. So it says that, okay, server. What is the server? This is the Apache 2.2 and this one. Now, I don't have time to read the documentation where and what is the default configuration file location of this. So what I do is I simply use ChatGPT, or I simply search it here and type okay. This is how actually things work in real life. Okay, I'm going to show you step by step. Yeah, so this tell me that okay, on this particular Apache version, this the configuration file is at etc apache 2 apache config. Okay, so this tell me that this is the default location where we can find the configuration file of this Apache or and this. Okay, now we got the configuration file. What we have to do next? Copy this, and in our payload simply paste it here. Simply paste it here, and let's try to run this. And let's see if we can able to extract the configuration file or not. I think there is extra slash over here. We need only 3, right? Okay, so this generates the PDF. Let me, yeah. So we are able to extract the configuration file. Did you see? Now, I don't know about coding, right? How do I read this? So simply I copy this, and what I do is I simply copy this and I go to ChatGPT. Since I don't know coding, I don't have any time to, learn that code. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to just use ChatGPT. Let me show if anything, yeah. I paste the config file. Now, ChatGPT going to explain me everything. Okay, so we have etc2, we have the config, we have this, we have this, we have this. Okay.
But that way we can only read it, right? We cannot write it.
Sorry?
We can only read it. We cannot write it, right?
We cannot write means?
I mean, we cannot change the file configurations.
No, we cannot change the configuration file because we don't have the server access. But still, we are able to see the configuration file, and we can simply read the source code. And if there is any vulnerability in that source code, or if there is any hidden URL for admin page or for any sensitive page, we can simply attack over there.
So yeah, that can continue our further expertise.
Mhm. So it says that user and group this. Okay. Here we have config file. Now, as this site says, please use our internal web application to track an order. So I'm going to do what? I'm going to ask this. And it is going to show me if there is any internal application or not. Now, I'm going to show you everything in real, okay? So we already got this Apache 2 config. And the site enable for virtual host. So that means, okay, my app, we can simply read this, okay? So this is how we use ChatGPT in our cybersecurity journey, right? Now, I can simply keep asking ChatGPT to explain this code word by word, and at the end, I will, or at the end, ChatGPT will show me this thing, that there is one directory called bar internal and index.php. And if my next step is to read this source code, since this is a PHP file, I'm going to read this source code, right? So again, I'm going to copy this. So before proceeding with that, do you have any doubt? Anyone, do you have any doubt?
So right now everything is in the doubt section only, but as we have not that much experience, so yeah, we are coping up with it. I'm
Okay.
trying to.
Okay, at the end, I will conclude this with a very nice explanation, okay, what we did here.
Sir,
So
Thank you
any
very
other,
much sir, for that.
yeah,
sir, any other method to find out this location index.php?
you need to,
Any
yeah, the only look, only
we can use?
the first one is you have to read the documentation, and in documentation you can find the default location where everything is stored. Remember one thing, whenever developer design the backend system, whenever they are creating web application, 99% time they are using the default location. Why? Because that is the need. If you don't use the default location, you're not able to install the software and packages, right? Let's say you install Windows in your computer, right? Where did you install? In C drive. If you install that operating system in D drive, it will install the operating system. But when you install other software, it starts showing you the error. Why? Because you changed the default location to the new location. That is the
Yes.
same case with this server also, okay?
Sir, then we can use hit and trial method if we remember all the locations, default locations.
Yes, yes. We can, if you know default location 90%, 99% times it works. Like in my case, I simply did what? I simply do this, right? I simply do the Google search. What is the default location, right? Yeah. I think I did the Google search. What is the default
Yes,
location?
Default location of Apache
Huh.
config.
Yeah, and how do we know the version? We simply banner grab this. We first got this version, and then we simply do banner grabbing, what kind of server it is running on. It shows that this is the server and this is the version. We simply Google this default configuration location. We can simply type default web app config location, and it will show you etc Apache 2 Apache this, right? So these are the these are the default location where we have to try. Instead of reading all the documentation, this is the shortest way, since we are in the time of AI, right? So why not to
Sir,
use
maybe
AI?
we can find out the index.php in these files like site
Yes,
enabled or
yes.
site available. Yes.
Every application have their index.php.
Okay, sir.
if you need to confirm if this web application have index.php or not, what you can do is you can simply slash index.php. If server have the index.php, this will load the site. Did you see it load the site? Okay, I am trying to do with .jsp. If this application is built on JSP, it will load the site. If it doesn't build with JSP, it will throw the error. As you can see, it is keep loading and loading. We can simply observe that the site don't have the JSP.
Okay, sir.
Okay, so where we are, yeah, we have to try this, right? Since we got this, we got the default location where the web application stores the file. We try to generate the PDF and yeah, place an order. Again, here, this is the vulnerable field. Just paste our payload, hit enter, and it generates the PDF. Okay, let's open the PDF. Oh yeah, here we read the index.php source code. Now, simply copy this. I'm going to simply copy this, and again, I don't have time to go through all of this, so I will use ChatGPT. Now, okay, so it explained me whatever vulnerability it has, what is the problem with the code, and we see that there is a one URL with this, right? So we can observe that this is the internal application that we are looking for. Okay, and this is the actual code. And we can see this is vulnerable to XPath injection also. You can see the major problem here. In next session, I will show you how to exploit this to XPath injection and how to retrieve the data, the sensitive data. Okay. Now, since we got the web application URL, we can simply copy this and we can simply paste it in our payload. Now, here we got the URL, right, of our internal web application. So let's replace this. I'm going to replace this. I hope you understand, right? If not, I will clear this. Now we got everything what we need, and our SSRF payload is ready. Since this particular application is accessible internally, I'm going to again explain you. It will just take 1 minute for me. This is the local IP, okay? So we cannot access this in our system. In order to access whatever service running on this local IP, we need a server to request this file, and in response, server gives the content of this file. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to copy again, and yeah. Okay, and here I'm going to paste this, and let's hit forward, and okay, it says that error. Oh, I think we did something wrong. What script we used? We have to use this. Yeah, we have to. Okay. It says that we cannot access this thing, right? Let me remove this first and then try if we have any application here. Okay, again it is throwing the error. Can anyone tell me why it is throwing an error? Can anyone? So the possible reason is that the file is not accepting the HTML input, but we know that this accept the it accept our JavaScript, right?
Sir,
So let's try to.
in PHP file format,
Sorry.
I mean, if it is in not accepting normal HTML form, then we can try it in PHP format.
Okay, no, we cannot try the PHP format since we have to go through the documentation of the PDF generation library the web application is using. And if you found that, okay, this library supports the PHP, then only we can use that PHP. Okay, since in our case, this library doesn't support PHP or any programming language. It only supports HTML and JavaScript. And we found that HTML is not working. So let's try with JavaScript.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so this is the JavaScript we are trying to do. And again, let's see if we can. Let's paste it here. And yeah, it generates the PDF. Let's open the PDF. Oh, wow. We got nothing here. Can anyone tell me why we don't get anything here? This thing also does not work, right? Now let's try to pass the size here. Since I don't know the coding, what I do is I simply go to okay, so it shows me how iframe works. So okay, this is how iframe works, and we can use the height also. We can define the height. So what I need is height. Let me define the height also. I think outside the code. Okay, I think yeah. So if I run this, what happen is it supposed to, yeah, it is running, right? So if I run this, it creates a iframe of this particular size, and whatever we have in this location, it shows me. Let's try it over here. To skip the space, I used a plus sign. Okay, why? Because plus is the URL encoded version of space. Again, we are getting the error. Why we are getting error?
Sir, maybe because of HTML code, we can try it in JavaScript.
Yes, we can try to write it on JavaScript. So this is the JavaScript of our code, right? Let's try to remove this and let's try to only load this. And let's do this. No, again, it doesn't work. Okay. So far, do you have any doubt?
Maybe the code didn't work because we couldn't properly could not that what is the word that conjugate the code. You know, you press Control plus U to you select the code and you press Control plus U to it what
Mhm.
it transforms the what you have written into a what you say that I don't have the proper words I'm trying to explain. Like a web server, you know, plus is equal to it converts all that. So we didn't properly convert that. That's why maybe we gave me an error.
Okay. Yeah, expect this. Do you have any other query? Since we know that our payload don't work, right? So we will find out why it doesn't work.
Sir, we can use the full means full path like file etc apache config, then the full file location.
That only by this way we can only read the
Absolute.
yeah. By this way we can only able to read the source code of that particular index.html file. We cannot able to view the web application. So can anyone tell me? Okay, how many of you find that today's class is very difficult to understand?
A little bit of. I wouldn't
So it's
say I
not
didn't
very difficult to understand, but just need to practice.
Sorry?
He was trying to say the today's class is not difficult. It we need to practice the.
Okay.
Thanks, Mohit.
Okay.
Hello everyone, we have shared the YouTube link in chat box. Please subscribe this channel because we will post this recording on this YouTube channel.
Sure, sir.
Yes.
And if you have any kind of questions, you can ask in chat box as well. And because please see the chat box and answer the questions.
Okay.
So you are using this professional quotes with the. Did you buy the license or you have the crack version?
No, I have the cracked version, but I do have the personal version, but I cannot show the personal version because that is provided by the organization.
Can you share the link of the crack version?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, thank you.
Sir, just send the link of the
So,
in the link in the document.
sorry. I didn't got your point.
So the walkthroughs of this lab is available or not, sir?
It will be available.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Do you have any other queries?
Yes, I have. So when we
Yes.
are trying to prepare for the EJPT or maybe JPT, junior penetration certifications, like right now TryHackMe has given the new certificate. Maybe you know that.
Pen test one, right?
Yes. So those exams, those are like CTFs or like they are completely different? Because I have
No,
done
they
some
are
CTF.
kind of the CTF. Like what we do today, they provide the same thing. Like you have the one web application, right? You have to find the vulnerability and you have to crack the lab and find the flag to solve the lab. So they will provide you the realistic environment. They will provide you the web application that runs the realistic framework like PHP, WP, and some kind of PDF generation libraries. And you have to use your tools and techniques and you have to find the vulnerability.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
Sir, I've been studying it's about cybersecurity for almost a year now, but I haven't entered the hands-on area, the practical area. I've studied the theoretical part. I've covered almost, but haven't entered the hands-on. So but I have discovered that my main interest is towards the penetration testing area, not the security. I'm more towards the red team, not the blue team. I just know that. So I always question myself, why am I preparing for the security domain instead of preparing for the ethical hacking domain? So is it necessary to always start your career with the like SOC or a security analyst, cybersecurity analyst? I mean, or directly I can jump to the penetration testing part. Is it always necessary to go towards the defending part first as an intern, as a graduate fresher?
Okay, see. So let me clarify this. So today we did our practicals, right? And we found the web application. In next session, we will see how to access the web application, right? And we will see how to exploit this to the.
Hello.
Yes.
Sir, I have asked one question.
Yes.
maybe
I'm coming to your
Acha,
point.
Okay.
Yes.
मुझे
Before
लगा
that,
आपने सुना नहीं।
no. Actually, I'm coming to your point, right? Before
Okay.
that, let me just clarify one more thing. Before this, yeah. Before